Chapter 301. Although this Horsey didn't have a particularly good potential as a born shallow gold Pokemon compared to Alex's other Pokemon, it had many other advantages that made Alex want to add this Horsey to his group. Kingdra, the species to which this Horsey can evolve, is not only extremely strong but hardly had any weak spots and is generally an all-rounder without significant weakness. Above all, this Pokemon species is less restricted on land than many other water-type Pokemon due to its tail-like lower body, which allows it to move relatively well on the surface even if it does not have the same agility or speed as it has at the water. Kingdra, like many different water-type Pokemon, can also survive on land for several hours or even days without water, and with the help of a dive ball or a net ball, this Pokemon will always have a place to recharge its water supply. Alex was particularly impressed with Horsey's ability, Sniper, and his innate talent moves. Sniper plus focus energy on the master rank is just a thought that Alex can't suppress when he saw this Horsey. Especially if a crit landed successfully with that move, Outrage, on the master rank, the damage would be absurdly powerful. The only thing that is not optimal on this Horsey, according to Alex, is his potential that is not particularly good compared to his other Pokemon. Bastiodon, Blaziken, and Umbreon all have a born shallow gold potential and therefore have the same potential talent as Horsey has. This is still a very good potential and Alex was happy with it even if he already had two Pokemon with a born gold potential and even had a Pokemon with a born deep gold potential. It's just one thing he noticed that this Pokemon was missing to get his perfect rating from him. Still, Alex was satisfied with the potential. He doesn't expect to find a born gold water type Pokemon, and he didn't think he'd be as lucky again to find a born deep gold potential. Especially because Alex believes that born deep gold are ridiculously rare and even rarer than half-blood legendary Pokemon. He was very sure of that. Alex knew that even very strong future champions only have one Pokemon with an born deep gold potential. Steven's Metagross was the only born deep gold Pokemon that Steven owned and his absolute trump card. Alex knew that Steven would be one of the strongest trainers in the world in the future and that the Metagross would remain his strongest Pokemon later on. He was the optimal example for Alex to determine the rarity of born deep gold Pokemon. That's why Alex believed that born deep gold Pokemon are much rarer than half-blood legendary Pokemon. Apart from the fact that they are better in Alex's opinion, half-blood legendary Pokemon are born with a shallow diamond potential, but these Pokemon cannot improve their potential any further, which makes it impossible for these Pokemon to achieve a diamond potential talent. Although even with this big flaw, Alex would still catch a half-blood legendary Pokemon as a trainer if he had the chance. He stopped thinking about the potential of this Horsey and started looking with a bright expression at the Horsey that was barely visible in this large river. Vulpix, like the rest of Alex's Pokemon, worried when they saw Alex go unresponsive for a few seconds after he woke up. "Father, why are you showing such a strange expression? Are you okay?" Alex looked at Vulpix and his other Pokemon, all of which had a worried expression, and said with a soft expression, "Yes, I'm fine. Thanks to all of you." Vulpix showed a happy expression and said aloud, "That's all thanks to Big Sister Umbreon. She was the one who saved us all." The other Pokemon began to nod in agreement when Vulpix said these words. Even Crobat and Scizor gave the whole tribute to Umbreon without saying a word. Umbreon, who was doused with warm looks and words of praise, showed a shy expression. At the same time, she said that she hadn't done much. Alex, who knew what a wild expression Umbreon showed to other Pokemon or unknown people, showed a slight smile when he saw the shy expression of Umbreon. When Alex enjoyed this warm atmosphere, he suddenly felt that he had almost forgotten something. He looked at his Pokemon and said with a smile, "Which of you thinks that you can swim well?" No Pokemon spoke for 3 seconds before suddenly Ditto created a hand with his body and said at the same moment, "I can transform myself into one of these water-type Pokemon in this river, and then I should be able to swim very well." Alex looked at Ditto and said with a smile, "That would be great, Ditto. I'm really glad that our group has you." Ditto's face hardly changed when he heard these words, but Gardevoir felt that Ditto felt very happy and embarrassed at this moment. Gardevoir started to laugh slightly when she looked at Ditto's emotionless expression. Alex doesn't know why Gardevoir laughed and looked at Ditto, but he had a suspicion. He looked at Ditto and said, "Do you see this Horsey? Bring it over please." Ditto nodded and turned into Golduck and began to enter this large river. Fortunately, many Pokemon were visible in Ditto's sight, so he had a wide variety of water-type Pokemon to transform into. Crobat watched as Ditto began to swim in the direction of this Horsey and said to Alex, "Why are you suddenly so much softer? Did you lose your manhood from the injury?" Quote. Alex, who was in a very good mood, heard the words of Crobat and just looked unemotional in the direction of Crobat when he said, "Crobat, what's going on?" Crobat said nothing for a few seconds. Alex looked at Crobat and said, "If you blame yourself for this, then all I can say is that it has nothing to do with you." Crobat looked at Alex with an angry expression and said, "What are you talking about? I couldn't do anything about it. How can it not be my fault?" Scizor, who was listening to this conversation, said with an annoyed expression, "Can you stop being so arrogant? We have all failed in this situation, not just you." The rest of the Pokémon nodded in agreement when Scizor said those words. Even Umbreon showed an expression that she had made a lot of mistakes. Alex saw his family pretending to be at fault and his expression got a bit angry. "Are you the leader or me? None of you made a mistake, and even thinking about this nonsense makes me angry. I recognized the danger too late and drew us into this danger. My arrogant attitude was to blame and nothing else." Quote. Umbreon, who heard that, went in front of Alex and explained to him what she had done wrong according to her opinion and that it was not Alex's fault. Alex showed an indifferent expression and ended the topic with the words, "As the leader, I am responsible for assessing the dangers of incidents." Chapter 302. Alex quickly put an end to this nonsense. He did not want to push his responsibility on his Pokémon, so that he ended the subject with these straightforward words. He knew that his Pokémon had nothing to do with the fact that this situation had developed like this and that they had done nothing incorrectly. Alex knew exactly that a strong psychic Pokémon with greater strength than Gardevoir was coming in their direction, due to the fact that Gardevoir can only perceive this Pokémon very late, but he does not react optimally with this knowledge. Even if Gardevoir had noticed this Pokémon late, he had Crobat who gave him more than enough time to react. Despite the hints and possible dangers, Alex greeted these dangers with a superior attitude. He thought that his many escape alternatives would always give him an option to escape when things get too dangerous. It wasn't as if it was impossible to guess such a possible danger. Especially when he considers that there are not many Kanto psychic Pokémon species and that it is not unlikely that this strong psychic-type Pokémon is a Hypno with the dangerous move Hypnosis. Alex didn't think it was impossible to see such a plausible danger as a possibility. Although he had to admit that this Hypno had Hypnosis on the Master rank was a little unfortunate. This dangerous situation recalls Alex that many Pokémon have many weird moves that can quickly become dangerous for trainers and Pokémon. It also reminds him of his first encounter with Victreebel, who almost led him and his Pokémon to his death with his sweet aroma of honey. Alex saw how Ditto and the Horsey were swimming towards his group and he began to watch Horsey attentively again. Horsey, who followed Ditto with a slightly reluctant expression, came in front of Alex's group and changed his expression to a scared expression when he looked at Alex's others Pokémon. He's never seen such a large group of elite-level Pokémon and he didn't understand why he suddenly had to follow this Golduck. But Horsey knew of the law of strength and did not dare to oppose this strong Golduck. Alex looked at Horsey and tried to make a somewhat friendly expression. After realizing that Horsey was still looking very nervous and not being influenced by his friendly smile, Alex stopped smiling and started directly talking to Horsey. Alex said in a serious tone, "Horsey, I know you're confused about why I called you here, but don't worry, we won't hurt you. I just want to talk to you." Horsey looked at Alex and said nothing, even if his expression hadn't changed after the words of Alex. Alex looked at Horsey and said, "What would you think of joining our group and becoming a family member to us?" Horsey showed a surprised and confused expression after hearing Alex's words. He couldn't understand why the leader of this powerful group of elite Pokémon wanted to invite him. After calming down a bit, he said with a serious expression, "Okay, but I have a request." Alex smiled when he heard that. "Can you tell me what your request is?" He was ready to accept many requests if that would allow Horsey to join his group willingly, and he also didn't think this Horsey would ask for something unattainable. Alex already had a lot of ideas about what it could be. He would promise to train him to an elite-level Pokémon, or he should promise to help him to fulfill a task that he can only do with his strength, were his two biggest guesses. Horsey looked nervously at Alex and quietly said the words, "Can you provide me with enough food if I join?" Alex looked surprised when he heard such a ridiculously easy request. He looked at Horsey's body to find out why he might be asking for something like that. But to him, it didn't look as if this Horsey was plagued by hunger or that he was eating too much. Horsey got more anxious and nervous after every second that Alex just looked at him without saying anything. He already thought that he had maybe insulted this terrifying human and that he will suffer today. Alex gave an uncertain expression when he couldn't see anything in particular about Horsey's body, and he said, "Okay, no problem." Horsey, who had heard this direct and easy answer, after he began to think that he would lose his life today, showed an expression of shock. At that moment he didn't understand this human anymore or what was happening now. Alex was a little puzzled why this Horsey looked so shocked, but he said with a smile, "Welcome to the family." After that, every Pokemon from Alex started going to Horsey and welcoming him. Horsey, who saw the friendly words and kind faces of these powerful elite-level Pokemon, looked confused but still felt as if he had made the right decision. Alex saw Horsey start to loosen up a bit and he gave a smile. He waited a few minutes and let him talk to his other Pokemon to let him calm down a bit after seeing that Horsey was still showing a careful expression. After seeing that Horsey started to smile more often, he also went to Horsey and started to talk to him. Alex said with an easy voice, "Horsey, I'm a little curious. Can you tell me why you chose food as your request?" Quote. Horsey suddenly looked serious at Alex as he said, "Food is the most important thing to survive," then said in a whispered tone, "Also, I like it." Alex started laughing slightly. "Haha, don't worry, you can eat as much as you want as long as you do your daily training. I already have 2 big eaters here, so the one more doesn't make a difference." Then he looked at Dano and Bastiodon with a smile. Dano heard what Alex was saying and started biting Alex's feet with an irritated expression. He thought his dad was telling lies about him again. He didn't think he was eating much. Alex felt Dano nibble on his shoes, but he ignored it. He knew Dano was just playing and not using too much biting force to hurt him. Horsey showed a happy expression after receiving the promise of plenty of food from Alex. Alex then grabbed a dive ball and presented it before Horsey. Dive ball is a Pokeball that is often used as a house for water-type Pokemon because in this dive ball, the environment largely consists of water and it is, therefore, the ideal home for water-type Pokemon. Alex also uses this Pokeball precisely because of this environment for water-type Pokemon. Chapter 303. Alex looked at the Horsey's dive ball and said with a smile, "You can always come out if you want, or you can stay in this Pokeball if you feel uncomfortable on the land." Horsey left his dive ball and said with a serious expression, "I don't really feel very uncomfortable on land. Only when I'm out of the water for several hours. I feel a little uncomfortable." Alex started to have a short talk with Horsey when this conversation was interrupted by Dano. Dano went to Horsey and started talking to him about his favorite food. Horsey and Dano got along well so that Alex watched their conversation only with a smile without interrupting them. He was glad that Dano and Horsey get along so well. Alex looked at his other Pokemon and noticed how Gardevoir and Crobat were constantly exchanging information about the Pokemon in the surroundings they could perceive. He immediately understood why they were doing this and he began to show a serious expression. Alex knew that his Pokemon did this to prevent Hypno from attacking them unnoticed. Alex also noticed how angry his Pokemon looked when they talked about this Hypno. Alex didn't have any negative feelings about this Hypno. He has no particular interest in revenge or in fighting this Hypno again. It was similar for him, to the moment he and his Pokemon were almost killed by a Victreebel and he wasn't interested in revenge against Victreebel. Alex thinks of himself as a vengeful person, but he just cannot see most of the Pokemon in this way. Most of them hunt for food to improve their potential or to survive. It is nothing personal and more natural, or at least that's what it felt like to Alex. Umbreon came to Alex and said with a slightly angry expression, "Leader, when are we going to attack this Hypno and take revenge?" Alex, who heard the word of Umbreon, didn't show a surprised expression and said casually, "Take revenge? I don't think it's necessary." Umbreon looked shocked. "What?" Alex's other Pokemon also showed surprised expressions when they heard Alex's words. Crobat stopped looking surprised after a few seconds and started looking at Alex with a slightly angry expression. "Are you completely stupid, or why do you want to leave something like that unpunished? Why do I even ask you? Of course, you're stupid if you're going to do something like that." Scizor also looked at Alex with an angry expression. "Although I don't want to agree to this large bad application. He is right, we have to take revenge." Alex, who observed this strong reaction from Crobat and Scizor, looked at his other Pokemon and saw that the rest of the Pokemon also oppose Alex's response. Gardevoir looked at Alex and said with a slightly angry expression, "Father, if one of us got hurt by this Hypno, you would try to get revenge immediately. Why don't you want to do that for yourself? That's not okay. You cannot treat yourself so badly." Quote. Ditto, who was always quiet, suddenly said to Alex, "We all want to take revenge on this Hypno after he almost killed you. We won't change our minds." Bastiodon nodded to Ditto's words and said, "Father, you will feel all our resistance if you try to discourage us from this." Alex and the rest of the Pokémon who heard these dominant words from Bastiodon all showed a surprised expression. Blaziken said after a few seconds, "Wow, brother Bastiodon, that was really a manly sentence. I didn't imagine you had this side of you." Bastiodon, who wasn't sure whether it was an insult or a compliment, showed a confused expression. Although he still showed a slightly happy expression. Blaziken then saw Bastiodon's expression and showed a helpless expression. "You can't hold it for more than a few seconds, can you?" Then she looked at Alex and said aloud, "And father, don't think I've forgotten you. How dare you want to let this Hypno get away with something like that? You will take revenge on him or we will start a rebellion." Crobat and Scizor showed an agreeing expression after hearing Blaziken's words, even though the rest of the Pokémon disagree with the word rebellion. Gardevoir started stroking Blaziken's head as she said, "Little sister, we don't have to use words like that. I'm sure father understands what we're trying to tell him." Alex, who heard the statements from his Pokémon, said nothing and only listened to what his Pokémon had to say. But he heard the word rebellion, he couldn't help but roll his eyes. He looked at Blaziken, Crobat, and Scizor with a serious expression and said, "Do you know what that word rebellion means?" Blaziken looked at Alex with a serious expression, but after a few seconds with Alex's glance, she showed an expression like that of a child who recognized his mistake. In comparison, Crobat or Scizor didn't change their expression after seeing Alex's stare. Crobat even said after a few seconds, "Do you think I don't know what such a simple word means? But do you know what the word exaggeration meant?" Alex grabbed his head and showed an annoyed expression even if he felt secretly very happy. He felt the extreme hatred of his Pokémon toward Hypno and he could understand why they feel this way. He looked at Umbreon and said, "Umbreon, tell me what happened after I passed out. Tell everything, even the smallest details." Umbreon told everything that happened after Alex passed out, and Gardevoir added little things from time to time. She also added information on the exact strength of the several elite-level Pokémon that ran in the direction of Hypno. Alex immediately understood that it was not by chance that so many elite Pokémon were coming in the direction of Hypno. It is very likely that Hypno had called reinforcements, so that he has to consider that information if he wanted to fight this Hypno again. Alex would not ignore this likely danger. He began to think about the best tactics to reduce the strength of this Hypno and how he can minimize the danger of the multiple elite-level Pokémon to make this fight moderately safe for him and his Pokémon. He quickly had a good plan that greatly reduced the risk of Hypno. Although there are still a few small pieces that he has to work on, he has that unpolished plan. Alex looked at his Pokémon with a smile as he said, "Okay, we'll take revenge on this Hypno." Chapter 304. One day later in Vermilion City. Alex woke up early in the morning and he left his bed with slight pain in his body. Although Gardevoir had healed his injury, his body was not completely free of pain, even if he can now move like a fully healthy person without problems. But even with this slight pain, Alex was again very impressed with the irrelevance of non-fatal injuries in this world. It would normally take at least several months of healing to be able to use his completely broken arms again so easily in his old world, but in this world, this injury can be healed in less than 1 minute without great investment. After he had decided to take revenge on this Hypno, Alex did not go directly to the Hypno but paused himself and his Pokémon in a hotel as he prepared the things for his plan. For this preparation, he has to go to a city anyway, so that he is ready to delay his revenge for 1 extra day. In addition, his body needed enough time to recharge it with enough psychic energy so that he doesn't plan to fight this Hypno again immediately. Alex wants to have enough psychic energy to be able to use Energy Shield again in an emergency if his plan goes wrong. He'd rather have one more emergency plan than one less, even if he had to wait a day. Although Alex often uses risky plans in fights, he is in circumstances with his life as a bet, extremely cautious, and plans for many dangers. Against Misty, for example, he was ready to bet his whole plan's success on Misty being distracted by his words and giving Scizor enough time to buff, even though it was extremely risky. Alex prefers to use stable and reliable plans even in non-life endangered fights if he can, but with fights with a large strength difference, he knew that he could not have this luxury. In the Kanto Rookie Tournament, all of his victories against stronger level trainers were only possible because his opponents did not immediately react optimally to his plan. If he had fought against a trainer with 3 higher level Pokémon and this trainer had reacted optimally to his tactics, Alex could not have done anything to change that. But in the fight for life and death, Alex also meets opponents where he could win against these Pokémon with a relatively risky tactic. However, whenever it comes to the life of his Pokémon or himself, he always takes the safest and most stable plan. He only bet with his life if it's the best way. If there isn't a good chance of victory, he'll just avoid fighting altogether in battles that have the life of him and his Pokémon as a bet. Alex often does this when he sees Pokémon in the wilderness where he estimates that thus Pokémon can jeopardize the life of him or his Pokémon if not everything works out optimally. After Alex had showered and prepared breakfast for himself and his Pokémon, he started opening his TRH device. He buys 2 TMs and waits for a transfer request to get the items. Alex looked at his Pokémon that eat their breakfast and he said with a smile, "Gardevoir, Blaziken, I have 2 presents for you." His other Pokémon looked curiously at the TMs in Alex's hand, but after they saw which TM it was, Alex's other Pokémon understood why Alex had only bought these TMs for Gardevoir and Blaziken. After Gardevoir and Blaziken had learned the TMs, Alex looked at his remaining Pokémon. "Okay, it's time." Alex and his Pokémon were walking along the Vermilion Forest again, even if they each had a much serious expression on their expressions this time. The atmosphere was very quiet, and without the short verbal exchanges between Gardevoir and Crobat, there would be no sound from Alex's group coming as they walk forward. Even the 2 young Pokémon, Dano and Horsey, were very calm today, even if they received instructions from Alex to stay in their Pokéballs. Vulpix and Bannet are allowed to take part in this fight, but Alex did not allow these 2 Pokémon to take part in the direct fight against Hypno. He had other reasons why he allowed these 2 to take part in this fight. Crobat, who exchanged information from the Pokémon in the area all the time, suddenly noticed that he can perceive a Pokémon more than Gardevoir within 300 meters. Alex made a serious expression and called all Pokémon except Crobat back to their Pokéballs. He looked at Crobat and said, "Fly us 2 kilometers away from here." Crobat didn't ask and grabbed Alex with his feet, as he flew away from this place with an extremely fast speed. In less than 1 minute, Alex and Crobat came to a quiet place that is barely covered with trees. Alex again called all of his Pokémon from their Pokéballs except for the 2 young Pokémon. "Okay, next, reinforce yourself, as always." Because the reinforcement moves in this world get weaker and weaker with time after the use, Alex had come up with this method to bypass this problem. First, he finds out where the target is and then he flies away with his superior speed of Crobat, to a place where he gives his Pokémon enough time in peace to buff themselves to the pinnacle with reinforcement moves. Alex looked at Crobat and Gardevoir. "And you too, please keep exchanging the information from the Pokémon in the surroundings." Crobat and Gardevoir do that and made it impossible for this Hypno to make a surprise attack. Alex was very satisfied that his Pokémon could now, not only buff themselves to the maximum but that the Hypno had no idea that it was happening. Hypno probably thinks that Alex ran away after seeing him and nothing more. After Alex saw that every one of his Pokémon had buffed himself to the limit, he said with a smile, "Okay, now, let's start with the most important part of my plan." Chapter 305. Vulpix looked curiously at Alex as she said, "What is the most important part of the plan, exactly?" The rest of Alex's Pokémon are also looking curiously at Alex's answer. Alex looked at his Pokémon and said with a small smile, "Use substitutes." "That's the plan." Vulpix thought Alex was joking at first, but, after seeing Alex's expression she knew he was serious. She looked slightly frowning at Alex when she said, "And you call that the most important part?" What a disappointment. Even though Alex smiled, he said with a serious expression, "Just because it's the most important part it doesn't mean it's the most difficult or complicated part of the plan. Although substitute on the normal rank is destroyed by every attack from Hypno, it can still absorb most of the damage from one move. But that wasn't the most important trait of this move. Substitute creates an invisible second skin that not only protects the whole body but also the ears and eyes of that Pokémon from many dangers. For example, Crobat could look at the sun for hours when using substitute without getting eye pain or being affected by the brightness of the sun. This special feature of substitute can be used to completely block hypnosis while his Pokémon can still see Hypno at the same time. Although Alex can just tell his Pokémon not to look at Hypno while fighting, it is a major hindrance for most of his Pokémon. Only Crobat or Gardevoir would not be limited by it. Alex knew that after one of his Pokémon was hit by an attack move from Hypno, that it is no longer protected by hypnosis, but that is only a danger if he and his Pokémon forget this fact. As long as he reminds his Pokémon after losing their substitute not to look at Hypno, this weakness shouldn't be a problem. Every Pokémon from Alex used substitute and waited for Alex's next command. Alex walked next to Crobat and said with a serious expression, "Okay, we're running back together, now. Everyone runs at the same speed and takes care not to run too fast." "Crobat, You are carrying me. Although he can teleport directly to this place with Gardevoir, Alex wasn't sure whether this place is already occupied by Hypno. Gardevoir, Crobat, you know what to do. After they have done this so often recently, they do it almost automatically even without Alex telling them. Alex's group started running and flying at a good speed after receiving the signal from Alex. It only took a little more than 1 minute before Alex's group was back in the same place where Gardevoir and Crobat discovered Hypno. Gardevoir and Crobat informed Alex that Hypno is only 150 meters away and that Hypno comes with a quick pace in their direction. Is he alone? Gardevoir and Crobat nodded both to Alex's question. Alex's serious face broke into a smile after hearing that. He wasn't afraid of Hypno alone after his Pokémon were completely buffed and he had countered Hypno's 2 strongest moves. Alex was much more concerned about the many elite Pokémon that seemed to have something to do with Hypno. Hypno, almost exactly like last time, became visible to Alex's group in the dense forest, and like last time he immediately started to prepare a move. Dash. Pokémon. Hypno. LV. 54. Type. Psychic. Abilities. Forewarn. Gender. Male. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Pound. Disable. Confusion. Headbutt. Poison Gas. Meditate. Psych Up. Synchronize. Zen Headbutt. Swagger. Psychic. Nasty Plot. Innate Talent Hypnosis M. Innate Talent Dream Eater M. Innate Talent Psybeam E. Dash. Alex immediately looked at the floor after seeing Hypno. He also said, okay. Defeat him as soon as possible. All of Alex's Pokémon except Vulpix and Banette moved quickly towards Hypno. Alex knew that the two were too weak to be of any use to him in this fight, but they were strong enough to block one move of Hypno for him if Hypno had again a chance to attack him. If both of them used Protect at the same time, according to Alex's assessment, it should be enough to block a Psybeam from Hypno. Crobat used Toxic first to be able to permanently inflict small damage on Hypno. Although the efficiency of Toxic is greatly reduced because of the level difference, it is still strong enough to be able to do good damage because of the move mastery of Toxic and the poison type of Crobat. Gardevoir and Crobat kept their distance and used ranged attacks like Dazzling Gleam and Shadow Ball to harm Hypno. The rest of Alex's Pokémon went into hand-to-hand combat and surrounded the Hypno, who showed a surprised expression after seeing that no Pokémon was sleeping even though it was looking at him as he used Hypnosis. Hypno couldn't understand what was going on, but he still showed a relatively calm expression. Because of his great level advantage, he was not afraid of 7 strong elite-level Pokémon even without Hypnosis. Although he knew that the Pokémon of humans are normally stronger than those Pokémon in the wild, it is not his first time that he has fought against Pokémon of humans. He has already won against a human that is slightly stronger than Alex's group, so that he was still sure of his victory. Hypno prepares Psybeam when he tried to avoid the various attacks from Alex's Pokémon. Scizor and Ditto Scizor came first with their outstanding speed before Hypno. Scizor was using X-Scissor, and while Ditto had to stand still and prepare a move. Hypno showed a surprised expression when he felt pain and he lost almost 10% of his HP. He didn't understand why this Pokémon could do him so much harm. He's already fought a Pokémon from a trainer that was at a slightly higher level than this Scizor but didn't do half as much damage. It even used an effective move too, but it still doesn't do comparable damage. Umbreon came before Hypno, who was still a bit shocked and uses Double Edge. Hypno suddenly felt a slight pain and he suddenly didn't understand what was going on. He remembers this Umbreon and how little damage it had done yesterday. Hypno did not understand why her attacks today are so much stronger than they were yesterday. The moves of the rest of Alex's Pokémon came almost right after Umbreon's hit. Rock Slide, Flamethrower, Dazzling Gleam, and Shadow Ball hit Hypno, who was slowly showing an expression of fear. Hypno loses more than 30% of his HP after this one exchange, and he slowly felt that this fight was moving in a very dangerous direction. Chapter 306. Alex saw that this Hypno lose its self-confidence and he said in a calm tone, "Be careful that he can't run away and keep attacking aggressively." Hypno tried to use Psybeam against Blaziken, but Bastiodon caught the attack and blocked it with his body and with the move Protect. The rest of Alex's Pokémon used the chance to do more damage to Hypno and added more and more wounds to Hypno's body. Gardevoir said telepathically, "Father, a large number of elite-level Pokémon are coming our way." Alex said nothing for a second as he observed Hypno's condition. Although he is not sure how much HP exactly this Hypno still had, he had the feeling that it had already lost more than half and could not last long. Alex gave his Pokémon telepathically to keep attacking and quickly end the fight. Although this situation is extremely advantageous for Alex's group, Alex knew that a lot had to do with the fact that this Hypno's great strengths were counted by Alex. A Pokemon with a 5-level advantage is normally not that defenseless even against a full buffed and organized group of Pokemon. Alex has also often fought Pokemon in the mountains with a similar level advantage as this Hypno. Those fights were difficult and persisted much longer than this fight, even if Alex's group was relatively indisputable to secure victory in the end against these Pokemon. In comparison, the fight against Hypno is extremely easy and his Pokemon could even fight extremely aggressively against this enemy. Alex knew, however, that this Hypno was not weaker than the Pokemon on the mountain and that it would be considered to be much stronger to most trainers or Pokemon. That Alex almost lost his life the first time he met Hypno proves that enough. The reason why this fight is so easy is that Alex prevented Hypno to use his strongest moves against his Pokemon and not because Hypno is weak. A wild Pokemon at this level almost always has a master rank move which is the most powerful weapon of that Pokemon. Hypno who lost this weapon couldn't do enough damage to force Alex's group into a cautious fighting style, which resulted in him getting this passive beating. Alex looked cold as Hypno accumulates more and more wounds on his body and he thought, I would like to know what such a strong Pokemon is looking for in this area or what it had done here so that so many elite level Arbok appeared here. Hypno's life energy was completely exhausted and only the fear of death prevented him from falling unconscious on the ground. He knew that if he fell unconscious on the floor he would be killed. He tried several times to run away but almost every Pokemon from Alex except Umbreon was faster than him and blocked him with their body or with moves. Hypno doesn't understand why almost all of these Pokemon are so ridiculously fast. He can accept that a Crobat is faster than he is, but why is this heavy Bastiodon faster than him? He lived a long time and had met many Pokemon and humans, but this is the first time that he was so confused. Ditto used acrobatics and hit Hypno, who got many extremely deep wounds all over his body, with it. His whole body was covered with wounds and the amount of blood that this Hypno had already lost was not small. Hypno felt so tired and although he was struggling to stay awake he couldn't help but fall unconscious to the ground. He is lying on the ground, unconscious, and he was on the verge of death. Umbreon didn't show a happy expression after defeating Hypno and she used the move she was preparing directly on the senseless Hypno. She rammed Hypno's head with a double edge and crushed his head like a hammer would against a watermelon. Alex saw the contents of Hypno's head and even though it didn't look exactly like a human, it was similar enough that Alex was a bit perturbed by it. He stopped looking at Hypno's body when he saw all of his Pokemon looking in one direction. Alex also looked in this direction and he saw how many Arboks were running quickly in their direction. He showed a calm expression and looked at the information from the opponent after he noticed that none of these Arboks were on a level that is extreme dangerous for his group. Pokemon. Arbok, LV, 50. Type. Poison. Ability. Intimidate. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Poison Sting. Wrap. Leer. Acid. Bite. Haze. Glare. Poison Jab. Stockpile. Spit Up. Swallow. Slam. Headbutt E. Sludge Bomb. Innate Talent Bulldoze E. Innate Talent Gunk Shot M. Innate Talent Sunny Day. Pokemon. Arbok, LV, 45. Type. Poison. Ability. Intimidate. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Poison Sting. Wrap. Leer. Acid. Bite. Haze. Glare. Poison Jab. Stockpile. Spit Up. Swallow. Slam. Headbutt E. Innate Talent Bulldoze E. Innate Talent Gunk Shot E. Innate Talent Sunny Day. Pokemon. Arbok, LV, 44. Type. Poison. Ability. Intimidate. Gender. Male. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Poison Sting. Wrap. Leer. Acid. Bite. Haze. Glare. Poison Jab. Stockpile. Spit Up. Swallow. Slam E. Headbutt. Innate Talent Bulldoze E. Innate Talent Gunk Shot E. Innate Talent Sunny Day. Alex saw the information from all 14 Arboks and he noticed many interesting things. Only one Arbok was at level 50 and the rest was between level 40 and 45. Also, the potential of 3 Arboks was shallow gold and the rest had a deep silver potential. Alex, who saw this weird group, in terms of potential or even level, had a guess why that is the case. He was sure that almost all of these Arboks are the children of the female Arbok at level 50. That showed why there is such a big difference in level from one Arbok and the rest, and why almost all of the Arboks precisely have the same move. But Alex also noticed that the children of Arbok all had exactly the same innate talent moves as their mother and not, as usual, a mix of mother and father innate talent moves. Alex knew that there was only one explanation why these Arboks only inherited moves from their mother. The father had moves as innate talent moves that an Arbok cannot use or learn, so that in the end only the move could be inherited from their mother. Alex, who understood all of this, had also a guess who the father of this Arboks is. He looked at the dead Hypno and the female Arbok at level 50. Chapter 307. Alex understood now why so many elite level Arboks have appeared in these woods lately. Both Hypno and the female Arbok have very good potential, and even if these two probably do have not a born shallow gold potential, both should at least be born with a deep silver potential. For Pokemon in the wilderness without the support of an evolution, it is very difficult to improve your potential twice when the born potential is very good from the start. For a wild Pokemon born with a shallow bronze potential, it is not impossible to achieve a shallow silver potential when enough Pokemon with better potential have been eaten. But for Pokemon that are born with an A-rank potential, it is almost impossible to eat so many talented Pokemon in the wilderness. Especially because a Pokemon after it has consumed its first item will be less able to process the next item in its body than it has with the first item. Wild Pokemon often eat a lot and do not pay attention to the quality, so that it is rare that a Pokemon in the wilderness with a high born potential improve its potential without the assistance of an evolution. Alex was sure that the two, Hypno and the female Arbok, were both born with a deep silver potential. Because of their amazing talent, almost all of the two children have a shallow silver or a silver potential. Only a few children of the two will be born with a deep silver potential, but because of the high birth rate of Arbok species, it allowed them to both create a few children with a deep silver potential in a relatively short time. Alex, who saw the high potential of this elite group, suddenly had the feeling that he understood why Hypno was popular in this area. Alex can imagine how many children these two have, to produce such a large group of talented children. He wanted to build an army full of A-rank Pokemon. As he thought about it, Alex realized more and more how probable his theory is. Pokemon species with a high average potential always have extremely bad birth rates and have more difficulties making children than other Pokemon. Especially Dragon-type Pokemon species have a lot of problems with making children. Even with daily activities of two Dragon-type Pokemon, it can take several years for the female dragon to become pregnant. Many Psychic-type Pokemon species have similar problems, even if less harsh. But because Hypno creates children with a Pokemon species with a relatively fast birth rate and a very good born potential, he can produce many A-rank Pokemon without having to wait long. Alex also had little knowledge of which Pokemon can make with which Pokemon species children. He only has a bit of general knowledge, but he quickly learned that it is different in this world than it was in the games. Alex didn't know exactly which Pokemon can create an egg with which in the games, but he knew that Wailord can make an egg with Skitty in the games. When he saw that something like that wasn't possible in this world, and Alex knew that this explicit knowledge of games was impractical in this world. Alex's group and the group of Arboks only looked at each other for several seconds without using one move against each other. The level 50 Arbok was looking at the Hypno's corpse, which had many wounds on his body and most of his head was spread out on the ground. She didn't show any expression of sadness, but even an indifferent expression when she looked at the Pokemon with which she had so many children together. Without looking further at her life partner, she started to look at Alex's Pokemon to assess his strength. At the same time, Alex gave his Pokemon telepathic instructions. He's not starting an attack yet because this large number of Arboks was not only strong, but because he had heard from Gardevoir that a human with many strong Pokemon was coming in this direction. Alex, who felt that the situation was getting more dangerous and dangerous for him and his Pokemon after every past second, made a decision without wasting any more time. He said telepathically, "Gardevoir, prepare teleport." For Alex, this situation just had too many unmanageable factors appearing one after the other, so that he didn't want to wait for this trainer to then decide what to do. From Gardevoir's description, the energy of the 6 Pokemon from this trainer was no weaker than that of Alex's group and even a bit higher. Together with the group of Arboks, the number of strong Pokemon was too high in Alex's opinion to continue to wait and to observe this situation. In addition, he has already completed the mission so that he has no reason to stay here any longer. After Hypno is dead, the other elite Pokemon should now be able to fight better against this large group of Arboks. Apart from the fact that the female Arbok probably won't find another partner with similarly good potential. Alex teleports away and appeared in a quiet spot on the edge of the Vermilion Forest. From this place, Gardevoir had enough time to prepare another teleport that will now bring the group back to Pewter Gym. Although this mission was much more dangerous than he thought, Alex had earned 3 million TR points after a few days and he found a new family member, so he was still relatively happy. But he knew that this mission was not created under normal conditions and he will not find such worthwhile rewards for normal missions. Chapter 308. 5 days later, in Pewter City. Alex, flying on Crobat, got on the ground as soon as Crobat landed with a faint grin on his face indicating how successful the last 5 days were. He bought 348 Pokemon during this time and sold most of them on the same day. These 5 days were pretty exhausting for Alex, who never had time to sleep for a long time or do other things. He looked at more than 5,000 Pokemon's info. Although this process was very tedious, it was never uninteresting for Alex. Any Pokemon could be a big win, so Alex was never really bored. He didn't sell all Pokemon right away but kept specific Pokemon for the time. Alex had already collected enough A-rank Pokemon from these 5 species to meet the minimum requirements of his second mission, but that wasn't enough for Alex. He not only wanted to collect 10 A-rank Pokemon of these 5 Pokemon species but as many as possible to take advantage of this good price per A-rank Pokemon in the mission. To get 100 A-rank Pokemon from 5 species Rattata, Spearow, Zubat, Coughing, Ekans, he visited every relevant black market in all of Kanto. Not only did he visit the black markets of the big cities of Kanto, but he was also going to the black markets of relatively small cities for the first time. But even after that 5 days, Alex only found 54 A-rank Pokemon that met the mission requirements. That the mission only accepts A-rank Pokemon who are below level 20 and are one of the 5 Team Rocket main Pokemon species. Rattata, Spearow, Zubat, Coughing, Ekans. The biggest problem wasn't necessarily finding Pokemon with these 5 species, but that these Pokemon have to be below level 20. In Kanto, most of the Pokemon that are only sold come from Kanto and more than 60% of the Pokemon in the black market are Pokemon species from the Kanto region. So it wasn't that difficult to find Pokemon of this species on the black market, particularly if consider that none of these Pokemon species are rare. But together with the level cap, the number of Pokemon he can find for the mission has been severely limited. Alex still earns a lot of money in the last 5 days. 9,100,000 TR points could be generated from the mission alone, and together with the other A-rank Pokemon Alex had sold in the black market, Alex had earned around 26 million TR points Pokédollar in just 5 days. Although Alex had to pay around 6 million TR points Pokédollar for buying Pokemon from the black markets and for repeatedly using the potential machine, that was, in Alex's opinion, a bearable sum if he thought about his win. About 20 million TR points Pokédollar was still a win that Alex was extremely happy with. Alex now had more than 85 million TR points Pokédollars available, but even that large sum didn't feel very big for Alex. Especially when he remembers how much money he has to burn to get Bastiodon on the Shallow Diamond. Alex, who wants to get his 3 starter Pokemon at this potential as well, knew that 100 million TR points Pokédollar per Pokemon is the absolute minimum. He wasn't even sure if 100 million is enough to get a Born Deep Silver Pokemon with Deep Gold potential to Shallow Diamond. Because even Bastiodon himself needed plus 50 million TR points Pokédollar and he has a Born Shallow Gold potential. The more he wanted to improve the potential of his Pokemon, the more he noted the importance of the information from Professor Walder that he had learned after the auction. The potential with which a Pokemon is born is incredibly important and often a limit for the future strength of a Pokemon. Even Alex can only try to solve the problem with money. In addition, Alex had not only received money, but he also found an S-rank Pokemon in the black market that he had bought it immediately. Dash. Pokemon. Abra. LV. 10. Attribute. Psychic. Abilities. Magic Guard. Hidden ability. Gender. Female. Potential. Shallow Gold. Moves. Teleport. Innate talent Grass Knot. Innate talent Protect. Innate talent Psychic. Dash. Alex was very happy to find a Born Shallow Gold Pokemon, but not for himself. He plans to give Maria this Pokemon. He knew how important the capacity to teleport is in a life-threatening situation, so that he wants to give Maria this Pokemon, especially because Maria still lacks a Psychic-type Pokemon in her team. Alex was walking the streets of Pewter City with his mask on and his Crobat beside him as Alex made his way to an entrance to the Team Rocket underground base. After 15 minutes, Alex was back in front of his room, but he didn't go in immediately because he heard a slight noise in the private training room of him and Maria. Alex walked down the hall with his Pokemon and saw Maria and a large number of Pokemon training. Maria, who had received 10 Deep Silver Pokemon from Alex, now had a large number of Pokemon to take care of, so that the number of Pokemon Maria has to take care of is not small. But Alex is careful not to give Maria Pokemon that takes a long time to evolve so that he doesn't think that Maria has to train these Pokemon for more than half a month before all of them reach the S rank. Maria saw Alex come and went to Alex with a dissatisfied expression. She looked at Alex with her cold eyes. I hate the mission you gave me. It's really tough to take care of so many Pokemon at the same time. Alex rolled his eyes as he said, you only get 50 million Pokédollars. Yeah, what an awful job. That's if these Pokemon really hit the S rank after their evolution. I don't think we're that lucky. Alex smiled when he said, don't you trust your lover? Maria looked at Alex's smile and showed an expression of disgust. Did I not tell you that you don't look good when you smile? Alex's good mood immediately got worse even when he knew why Maria was so bitchy to him. He had hardly sent her a message the whole week and the two spent almost no time together. Usually, even when both are separated, they talk to each other at least a little bit every day via the TRH device, but this week it was very short or not the case at all every day. That was because Alex had almost no time in the last week and preferred to use this time for his sleep. Don't be angry, I even brought a present for you. Alex wanted to joke but change his strategy in the middle of his sentence after seeing Maria's gaze. Maria just looked at Alex with an emotionless expression without changing her face. But Alex, who had spent a lot of time with Maria, knew that Maria is not really angry and just pretends to be. Alex gave Maria a Pokeball and said smiling, I found an S-rank Abra for you. Not bad, right? Maria wasn't looking at the Pokeball but only looked at Alex when she said seriously, what did I tell you about smiling? Alex, who had not expected such an answer, showed a speechless expression. Maria stopped showing a serious expression and started to laugh slightly as she looked at Alex's face. After she saw that Alex was slightly annoyed, she walked in front of him and hugged him. At the same time, she whispered the words, you can take revenge tonight, to improve Alex's mood. Chapter 309. 3 months later. Pokemon. Crobat. LV. 50. Type. Poison, Flying. Abilities. Inner Focus. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Absorb. Supersonic. Astonish. Bite. Wing Attack. Confuse Ray E. Swift. Haze. Leech Life E. Mean Look E. Venoshock E. Air Slash. Innate Talent. Shadow Ball E. Innate Talent. Fly E. Innate Talent. Cross Poison E. TM Protect. TM Toxic E. TM Taunt E. TM Sludge Bomb. TM Facade. TM Roost E. TM Substitute. TM Thief. TM Double Team E. TM Aerial Ace. TM Torment. TM Steel Wing. TM Payback. TM X Scissor. TM Giga Impact. Pokemon. Scizor. LV. 50. Type. Bug, Steel. Abilities. Technician. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Leer. Quick Attack. Focus Energy E. Double Team. Feint. Fury Cutter. Wing Attack. Agility E. Slash. Razor Wind. Iron Defense. X Scissor E. Night Slash. Bullet Punch. Double Hit. Iron Head. Innate Talent Roost E. Innate Talent Metal Claw E. Innate Talent Brick Break E. TM Protect. TM Swords Dance E. TM Toxic. TM Thief. TM Facade. TM Giga Impact E. TM U-Turn E. TM Sandstorm E. TM Substitute. TM Safeguard. TM Light Screen. TM Return. TM Aerial Ace E. TM Acrobatics. Pokemon. Gardevoir. LV. 50. Type. Psychic Fairy. Abilities. Telepathy Hidden Ability. Gender. Female. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Growl. Confusion. Double Team. Teleport E. Disarming Voice. Lucky Chant. Magical Leaf. Heal Pulse E. Draining Kiss E. Psychic E. Imprison. Future Sight. Captivate. Hypnosis E. Innate Talent Disable E. Innate Talent Calm Mind E. Innate Talent Dazzling Gleam E. TM Protect. TM Shadow Ball. TM Will-O-Wisp. TM Thunderbolt. TM Thunder Wave. TM Helping Hand. TM Focus Blast E. TM Reflect E. TM Light Screen. TM Safeguard. TM Charm. TM Icy Wind. TM Hyper Beam E. TM Guard Swap. TM Mystical Fire. TM Psych Up. TM Substitute. Pokemon. Ditto. LV. 48. Type. Normal. Abilities. Imposter Hidden Ability. Gender. Genderless. Potential. Gold. Moves. Innate Talent Transform E. Pokemon. Bastiodon. LV. 49. Type: rock, steel. Abilities: sturdy. Gender: male. Potential: shallow diamond. Moves: protect, tackle, metal sound, take down, iron defense, swagger, ancient power, block, endure, sleep talk E. Perfect talent rock Polish M. Perfect talent flamethrower M. TM taunt ETM, rock slide ETM, rest ETM, earthquake ETM, flash cannon ETM, substitute, TM bulldoze, TM roar, TM toxic ETM, ice beam, TM thunderbolt, TM double team. Dash: Pokemon. Blaziken. LV. 49. Type: fire fighting. Abilities: speed boost hidden ability. Gender: female. Potential: shallow diamond. Moves: growl, scratch, ember, sand attack, peck, double kick, flame charge, quick attack, bulk up, blaze kick, focus energy, sunny day E, high jump kick E, slash. Perfect talent attract M. Perfect talent overheat M. TM protect. TM flamethrower ETM, rock slide ETM, will-o-wisp ETM, poison jab ETM, solar beam ETM, dig, TM facade, TM helping hand, TM brick break, TM acrobatics, TM shadow claw, TM low sweep, TM U-turn, TM swift, TM substitute. Dash: Pokemon. Umbreon. LV. 50. Type: dark. Ability: synchronize. Gender: female. Potential: shallow diamond. Moves: growl, tackle, tail whip, quick attack, double kick, sand attack, bite, swift, take down, double edge E helping hand, charm, baton pass, work up E pursuit, moonlight, mean look, last resort, guard swap. Perfect talent rest M. Perfect talent sleep talk M. TM toxic ETM, shadow ball ETM, facade ETM protect, TM attract, TM psychic ETM substitute, TM snarl, TM payback ETM psych up, TM return, TM taunt, TM hyper beam. Dash: Pokemon. Alolan Nettles. LV. 43. Type: ice fairy. Ability: snow cloak. Gender: female. Potential: shallow diamond. Moves: powder snow, tail whip, roar, baby doll eyes, ice shard, confuse ray, icy wind, payback, mist, faint attack, aurora beam, extrasensory E safeguard, ice beam, sheer cold, howl E dazzling gleam E. Perfect talent hex M. Perfect talent blizzard M. TM protect, TM hail ETM return, TM double team ETM facade, TM substitute, TM payback, TM psych up, TM toxic. Dash: Pokemon. Bayonet. LV. 43. Type: ghost. Abilities: cursed body hidden ability. Gender: male. Potential: shallow diamond. Moves: knock off E screech, nightshade, spite, shadow sneak, will-o-wisp, faint attack, hex, shadow ball, embargo, destiny bond E sucker punch. Perfect talent curse M. Perfect talent phantom force M. TM protect, TM calm mind, TM toxic ETM taunt ETM thunderbolt, TM psychic, TM payback, TM thunder wave, TM dazzling gleam ETM substitute. Dash: Pokemon. Dano. LV. 39. Type: dark dragon. Ability: hustle. Gender: male. Potential: deep gold. Moves: tackle, dragon rage, focus energy E bite, headbutt, dragon breath, roar, slam, dragon pulse E work up E. Innate talent crunch E. Innate talent earth power E. Innate talent Draco meteor E. TM protect, TM toxic, TM thunder wave, TM taunt, TM facade, TM thief, TM psych up, TM dragon tail, TM substitute, TM dark pulse. Dash: Pokemon. Seadra. LV. 39. Type: water. Abilities: sniper. Gender: male. Potential: deep gold. Move: bubble, smoke screen, leer, water gun, twister, bubble beam, brine, agility E. Innate talent clear smog E. Innate talent focus energy E. Innate talent outrage E. TM protect, TM blizzard, TM hyper beam, TM double team, TM facade, TM substitute, TM flash cannon, TM surf ETM rest, TM sleep talk, TM toxic. Dash: level up. Crobat. 2. Scizor. 2. Gardevoir. 2. Ditto. 2. Bastiodon. 2. Blaziken. 3. Umbreon. 2. Ninetales. 5. Bayonet. 5. Dano. 19. Seadra. 20. Dash. Moves that improved in moves mastery. Crobat. Roost, Leech Life, Mean Look. Scizor. Aerial Ace, Giga Impact, U-Turn. Gardevoir. Draining Kiss, Heal Pulse, Hypnosis. Bastiodon. Earthquake, Flash Cannon, Rock Polish, Flamethrower. Blaziken. High Jump Kick, Poison Jab, Solar Beam, Rock Slide. Umbreon. Toxic, Rest, Sleep Talk, Shadow Ball, Psychic. Ninetales. Double Team, Hex, Blizzard, Dazzling Gleam. Bayonet. Knock Off, Curse, Phantom Force, Dazzling Gleam. Dano. Dragon Pulse, Work Up, Focus Energy. Seadra. Clear Smog, Focus Energy, Outrage, Agility, Surf. Dash. Learned new moves. Scizor. Double Hit, Iron Head. Gardevoir. Hypnosis. Ninetales. Sheer Cold, Dazzling Gleam. Bayonet. Sucker Punch, Horsey. Bubble Beam, Brine, Agility TM Protect, TM Blizzard, TM Hyper Beam, TM Double Team, TM Facade, TM Substitute, TM Flash Cannon, TM Surf, TM Rest, TM Sleep Talk, TM Toxic. Dano. Slam, Dragon Pulse, Work Up TM Toxic, TM Thunder Wave, TM Taunt, TM Facade, TM Thief, TM Psych Up, TM Dragon Tail, TM Substitute, TM Dark Pulse. Dash. Alex spent almost all of his time training his team in order to prepare for the Kanto Champion Tournament. During these 3 months, he was together with his Pokémon several times for a week or two, in the mountains to get a good ratio between wildness training and normal training. After these hard and exhausting 3 months, Alex was very satisfied with the results. All of his Pokémon have become many times stronger and even some improved their potential. Vulpix had reached level 40 and had learned the move Sheer Cold, had then been allowed by Alex to evolve to a Ninetales. He gave her the top ice stone he had kept for so long and let her evolve into an Alolan Ninetales. At the same time, she improved her potential and became Alex's 5 Pokémon with a shallow diamond potential. But Ninetales wasn't the only Pokémon in Alex's group that had evolved. Horsey became a Seadra in these 3 months and multiple times improved its potential. Alex buys and gave Horsey good items before the evolution to get it to a gold potential before it evolves. At the same time, he keeps a very good item in case Horsey evolves. After 3 months, Horsey with a shallow gold potential became a Seadra with a deep gold potential. But Alex also tried to improve the potential of 4 different Pokémon with many items. For Crobat, Gardevoir, Scizor, and Ditto, Alex uses a lot of money to improve the potential of these Pokémon. Especially for Ditto, Alex didn't save any money to bring him to the gold rank. He has bought more and more items for Ditto, but only after spending 35 million Pokédollars on Ditto was he able to improve Ditto's potential. Although it was very expensive, Alex felt it was worth it. Ditto managed to get 2 level ups in 3 months and his level up speed was now just a little slower than the other Pokémon. For Crobat, Gardevoir, Scizor together, Alex bought items worth around 90 million Pokédollars to start bringing these 3 up to the shallow diamond potential. He knew that he would need more money if he wanted his 3 starter Pokémon to reach this potential, but he didn't have the money to spend 300 million on just the 3 or even 300 million Pokédollars. Alex has already spent a lot of money on Pokémon food and he's also spent a lot on TMs these months. Together with the necessary items for his new Pokémon, Alex could not collect enough money. Although Maria gave him 10 S-rank Pokémon after 1 month and he had sold these to Team Rocket for 130 million Pokédollars, is this amount of money not just for himself anticipate? According to the agreement, Maria receives 50 million Pokédollars and Alex also needs to deduct the money for these 10 Pokémon and the 10 good items so that they could reach the S rank relatively safely during their evolution. Alex's earnings were still very good with about 60 million Pokédollars, especially when he considered that he hardly spent any time on it. This method of making money was very rewarding and Alex would like to continue using it, but there are several major risks involved with this method of making money. The more frequently he earns incredible money with it, the more eyes will be on him. S-rank Pokémon are very valuable, but they have one major disadvantage compared to A-rank Pokémon. Nobody buys an S-rank Pokémon without having a good relationship with the seller and being able to give the Pokémon back to them when the Pokémon had character problems. Nobody buys a Pokémon for several million without having any certainty that this Pokémon has no problems. It is not enough to just confirm the potential with the potential machine. Only if the seller and the buyer know each other relatively well will such a transaction be possible. Trust is very important for this art of expensive transaction. Apart from the dangers when people in Team Rocket find out how much money he earned with S-rank Pokemon, Alex had weakened this risk by indicating to Team Rocket that he had bought a rank 35 Pokemon and got these 10 for an S rank after 1 month, so that many will think that his profit is not high and don't try to do something harmful to Alex. But even with this lie, Alex knew that the huge amount of money had attracted a few eyes from Team Rocket. Alex knew that his strength is not bad, but he did not plan to try to earn more money with this process again. It was too risky for his taste, apart from the fact that he had a better plan. His plan was to earn money with this method when he had his own base in Hoenn and then had several better ways to sell these S-rank Pokemon. Although Alex had more than 145 million Pokédollars in his possession for a moment, his expenses in those 3 months were ridiculously high, so that Alex only had about 7 million Pokédollars left after all the expenses. Alex, who started to see 7 million Pokédollars as little money, suddenly felt that he was starting to think more and more like Steven about money. Chapter 310. After Alex finished his daily meditation, he watched his Pokemon train like always. As he looked at the infos of each of his Pokemon again, as he did every day, he began to think about something. What is the problem? Ditto should already have been training Transform for about 1 year, but the move still shows no indications of reaching the Master rank. Ditto had hardly wasted any time this year as Alex Pokemon and trained a lot on the move Transform. Alex also regularly tried other many training practices in order to improve the training effectively. But the move Transform is still on the Expert rank. Alex knew that getting an innate talent move from an S-rank Pokemon from Expert rank to the Master rank takes about 2 months with a regular move. Only difficult to learn moves, like Explosion, would take longer. But even Explosion with the right training approach shouldn't take more than 3 to 4 months. Alex knew for a long time that the move Transform was extremely difficult to train, but he didn't think it was that much harder than other moves. He suddenly understood why Ditto is so unpopular as a fighting Pokemon and why only a few trainers have a Ditto with an Transform on the Master rank. It's not easy to achieve and harder to train than to train multiple moves on the Master rank. If Ditto, with a very good potential, already takes so long to get his Transform on the Master rank and still hasn't been successful, Alex doesn't have to guess how long other Ditto's trainers feel. Alex has already bought a lot of information about the exercise for the move Transform for a lot of money. But unfortunately, these training practices were very similar to Ditto's currently and nothing special or new for Alex. Alex was sure that there wasn't a trick to train this move much faster, or if there was a trick, only a few people knew about it. When he remembered that he had Ditto for about a year, it occurred to him that he had been a trainer for more than 1 year and how much he had changed. Now that I think about it, I've been a trainer for more than 1 year. Time goes by really fast, Alex thought to me with a smile. From a rookie to an elite level trainer with several level 50 Pokemon is absolutely phenomenal and can hardly be reached by other trainers. Such a ridiculous level up speed for Alex is only possible through the use of vast amounts of money, the perfect assessment of potential, and tireless training in the wildness and normal training practices. Even Steven didn't level up that fast in his early trainer's years. Although the main reason is that he hardly ever spent time with Pokemon training and rarely went out into the wild in his early years. Now that Steven is a full-time trainer, his level up speed is similar to Alex's and in the future probably better, because his Pokemon have a slightly better potential now. As Alex was thinking about Steven, he saw that Steven has sent him a message. Hey Alex, I now have a full team of SS rank Pokemon. Although you don't understand how it feels like, I can tell you it's really a great feeling. Alex, who only had 5 Shallow Diamond Pokemon in his team, couldn't quite oppose Steven's 5 Shallow Diamond Pokemon and a monster Metagross with Diamond potential. Although Alex wasn't angry, he still accepted the chance to make fun of Steven. Yes, that makes your sad single life more bearable, maybe. Steven responds almost immediately. Haven't I already explained to you why I don't have a girlfriend? Alex answered without hesitation. Must I care what lies do you think up? Steven did not write anything for a few seconds before writing a new message to Alex. Be glad that I can't take part in the Kanto Champion Tournament or you would regret these words. Alex smiled slightly as he wrote. Wow, I didn't think that would annoy you so much. If that pisses you off, just look for a girlfriend. And I would beat you. Even with your Metagross. Steven ignores the first sentence and focuses on the second. As that's so, How about a rematch after the tournament? Alex smiled when he thought that Steven wanted to start a rematch after he showed all his strength and tactics in the tournament. Although he knew that the rematch has to wait. The Kanto Champion tournament would start in 3 days and that the registrations will start today, so it makes sense that the rematch can only take place after the tournament. Alex and Steven are very far apart and can't just meet in a few hours for a rematch. Alex believed that he could surprise Steven a bit about how strong he has become. Let's do it after the tournament. Steven looked at the message from Alex and he became slightly enthusiastic. He felt that it would be a very good challenge for him after realizing Alex's confident attitude. I'm already looking forward to it. In the Saffronia Arena, were many trainers and reports at the entrance so that Alex, who saw this spot from afar, was really impressed by the many cameras and reporters. Alex has never seen so many reporters and cameras in one place, and that although the tournament hadn't started yet. Even in the Kanto Rookie Tournament, were fewer reporters and cameras. Many reporters interview multiple various well-known trainers and Alex even recognized a few of them. Although these trainers are not as well known as gym leaders, their strengths could not be underestimated and for many, they are still relatively famous. Similar to Alex's stardom, when Alex made his way towards the entrance of the Saffronia Arena, he was recognized by a couple of reporters and they wanted to ask him for a short interview, but Alex refused with the comment, afterwards, directly. Although the reports all showed a dissatisfied expression, they didn't want to lose their chance to get an interview after Alex registered, so they did not say much or block Alex's way. Alex entered the entrance lobby of the Saffronia Arena and saw immediately where he has to register. It was hard to miss with a few trainers waiting there and several members of the staff to keep things quiet. There were only a few trainers in front of Alex so that he hardly had to wait long before it was his turn. Chapter 311. After 15 minutes, it was Alex's turn to move in front of the registration place. A beautiful woman around 20 years old looked at Alex and said with a smile, "Hello sir, can you please give me your ID card?" As in the Kanto Rookie Tournament, only Alliance trainers are allowed to take part in this tournament. Although Alex thinks rather badly about this rule, he doesn't say anything and gives this woman his ID card. The beautiful woman put the card on the scanner for a second before handing it back to Alex. The beautiful woman saw the name on the ID and took another look at Alex with a seductive smile as she gave him the ID card back. Simultaneously, she touched Alex's hand so that it seemed very accidentally, as she gave him his ID card. She gave a small smile and tried not to let the emotion in her eyes betray what she was thinking. But Alex saw this look so often that he recognized it almost immediately. He knew that if he would now ask her for her number, that he could sleep with this woman today, but he had no interest in doing that. For Alex behaved this woman a little too much like Lisa had when he first met her. Alex wishes not to be famous anymore precisely because of such like situation. Although he knew that many women see him as the optimal prey or target, and that he hardly has to do anything to sleep with these women, he sees this benefit only as a source of problems and not as something great. Alex wouldn't mind having fun for one night with such a beautiful woman, but now that he had Maria, he wouldn't consider it anymore. When he was hungry, no one gave him a steak, but now that he is already full, he is offered high-quality steaks all the time. Alex looked at the woman but continued to show an indifferent expression to make her understand that he is not interested. After the beautiful woman had seen Alex's expression, she showed a slightly disappointing expression that would awaken the protective instinct of many men. Alex just continued to look indifferently at the woman. He hopes that the woman can just stop. After a few seconds, the beautiful woman showed a professional smile again. She asked Alex, "Do you want a normal registration or the seed spot registration?" Very identical to the Kanto Rookie Tournament in which Alex participated, there were two different registration options. With normal registration, you can take part in the tournament as long as you have fulfilled the minimum number of gym bags, 3 different options. For the seed spot registration, you have to meet all the requirements of the normal registration and you have to have a team that exceeds a certain average level. Interestingly, there is no additional requirement where, as in the Kanto Rookie Tournament, you have to pay money to become a seed participant. Although these requirements seem so easy to meet, they are not. First, the gym badges. Even the B-rank gym badges and A-rank badges are not easy to obtain and that many elite trainers have problems with them. Also, Alex knew that this level requirement could not be met for most of the participants that have achieved the previous requirement. Her 6 Pokemon must have an average level of 47.5 or must have 3 Pokemon above level 49. Most elite level trainers don't even have even one mid-elite level 50 to 54 Pokemon. Not to mention 3 mid-elite level Pokemon. The first option is also not much easier for most trainers. Having 3 level 47 and 3 level 48 is by no means easier. Even Alex couldn't fulfill this high requirement 3 months ago. But the trainers who register this way have a great advantage. Alex himself knew how important it is to register as a seed participant if they don't want to fight against strong participants in the preliminary rounds. Seed participants will not fight against other seed participants in the preliminary round, and because almost all the strong participants are seed participants, the seed participants won't have to worry about 2 strong opponents in the preliminary rounds. Alex said, "I want to register for the seed place." The woman beautiful looked at Alex and said with a smile, "Okay. Please put your 6 Pokemon that are going to participate in the tournament on this machine. Please keep in mind that you cannot change them after registration, so choose carefully." Quote, Alex, who had already decided for his team, put 6 Pokeballs on this device. He only had 7 Pokemon, which were a realistic option and did not have a huge level disadvantage compared to the rest. In the end, Alex chooses Crobat, Scizor, Gardevoir, Blaziken, Bastiodon, and Umbreon as his team. Unfortunately, Ditto was the Pokemon that Alex had ruled out. As long as Ditto doesn't have Transform on the Master rank, he will not be strong enough in a 1vs1 tournament, compared to Alex's other 6 Pokemon. Alex put the 6 Pokeballs on a similar-looking machine to the one in the Kanto Rookie Tournament. The beautiful woman looked on the screen with Alex's Pokemon data and said with a smile, all right, your 6 Pokemon's average level is at 49.66. You are entitled to get a seed place. Here is your participant number. If you have any questions about the rules or the schedule of the tournament, you can visit our website for the Kanto Rookie Tournament. Quote, Alex took the participant number and noticed that this woman had also put a sheet of paper with a number on top of it. He also recognized from who the number belonged when he saw the woman's smile. Ah, can't she give up? And when did she do that? She didn't have time to write down a number, and I didn't see that she had done anything else. Don't tell me that she had prepared for such an occasion. Single quote. Alex, who doesn't want to waste any more time, took both things and left the building. After leaving the building, he immediately threw the number in the trash. Hi, guys, with this video I have uploaded all the chapters I could upload. You can read this fanfiction on web novel app or website for free. There are 397 chapters available on web novel when I uploaded this video. Author uploads 1 or 2 chapters a month of this fanfiction for free on web novel. If you want to read more, you can join his Patreon. There are 425 chapters of this fanfiction on his Patreon. I will give his Patreon link in description and pin comment of this video.